So tonight's learning should be l'schus Achenu b'nei Yisrael, Kol Beis Yisrael, Anasunim b'tzoro b'shivyo ha'oimdim bein bayam ubein bayabosha hamokim yirachim aleim v'yoytziim me'afelo la'oira mishibud l'geula hashta ba'agola b'zman korev v'nomer omein. You know, in this week's parsha is Lech Lecha me'artzecho me'moladetecho me'beis avicho el ha'oretz asher areka. There's a medrash that says, Omar Rabbi Levi, ha'odom hagodol ba'anokim. There's a pasuk in Yeshua referring to Avram Avinu, and he's described as the Odom hagodol ba'anokim. In other words, the great giant, the great amongst the giants. Ze Avram, zok the medrash. Lama koirei oisoi godol. Why is he referred to as Godol? Shehoya ro'ui lihiborois koidem adam harishon. That really Avram was meant to be created before Adam harishon. Elo Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shemo Yikalkel ve'ein mishe yovoy l'sakein acharov. Maybe he'll mess up and there will be nobody to correct things after him. Elo ani boire esa Adam tchila. She'im yikalkel yovoy Avram v'yisakein acharov. So Avram comes after Adam Harishon only because he's meant to be misakein what Adam Harishon was mekalkel. So from this we can understand that Avram Avinu is the beginning of the tikkun of the Chet Eitz Hadas, which is the kilkul of Adam Harishon. When Azoy steht mefurish in the Zohar Parshas Vayera, Daf Kuf Beis Amud Beis, that Avram Avinu is the tchilas hatikun of the Chet Eitz Hadas. Now, obviously, this is Nistorois LaHashem Elokeinu. It's beyond our comprehension, but nevertheless, even in Nistorois, there's a face of Niglois, and there's something that we can maybe learn from this. You know, the tennis yoinus that Avram Avinu was nesnase v'omad bekulon, as the Mishnah says in Avos Perek Hey. Probably those nisyonis are the avodah of Avram Avinu that is shaykh to the tikkun of the Chet Eitz Hadas. His Amida ben Nisoyan is the tikkun. The first Nisoyan, according to most Rishonim and many Midrashim, the first Nisoyan of Avram Avinu is Lech Lecha me'artzecha. As I stated, Ovis the Reb Nosson, the Rambam in Pirush HaMishnayos and Ovis. So how does this connect with the Chet Eitz Hadas, the Nisoyan of Lech Lecha me'artzecha u'mi'moiladetecha u'mi'beis avicha? It would seem that since the kilkul of Eitz Hadas was the wanting of v'hayisem ke'elohim yoidei toiv v'ra, the lack of the unwillingness to live with a lack of knowledge and full understanding, man wanted to be yoidei toiv v'ra. So that was the Chet of Eitz Hadas. That's the kilkul that Adam Harishon was mekalkul. He has to know it all. He can't deal with uncertainty. He has to be yoidei toiv v'ra, and that's probably why the Zohar HaKodesh says in several places that. First of all, the Gemara says in Shabbos that Yisrael she'omdu al Har Sinai posko zuhamoson, which means that the zuham of the Eitz Hadas was removed by Yisrael she'omdu al Har Sinai, because Yisrael she'omdu al Har Sinai, they said Naaseh v'nishma, in spite of the fact that they didn't know all the details and they didn't know everything, as the Gemara says in Shabbos, Anan Disaginon bitmi Musa. About us, it says Tumas Yeshorim tanchem, that they were willing to take upon themselves the Torah without fully knowing what's being presented to them. So that was a psika of the Zuama of Yoidei Toivara. And the Zohar says that when they did the Chet HaEgel, there was a chazorah b'miktsas of the Zuama of the Eitz Hadas, which is because the Chet HaEgel was Ze Moshe Ha'ish Lo Yodanu Mahoyaloi, and they couldn't deal with the uncertainty, they couldn't deal with the lack of knowing, and Memela they were nitzvas to a certainty of sheker. The Egel, instead of containing the doubt and working with it, so that's a chazorah of the chet of Yoidei Toivara. Just like then they had the need to be Yoidei Toivara, so the Yidden after Matan Torah couldn't deal with a situation where Zem Moshe Ha'ish Lo Yodanu Mahoyaloi. And that's why the first Nisayon of the Adam Hagodol Ba'anokim, who's meant to repair the kilkel of the Eitz Hadas, begins with Lech Lecha me'artzecha u'mi'moladetecha u'mi'beis avicha el ha'oretz asher areka, to the land that I will reveal to you. As Rashi says, Loi gila loi ha'oretz. He didn't tell him where it is. And as the pasuk says in Parshas, Vayera vayihiki hisu oisi Elokim mi'beis avi. Hisu. As Rashi says, Liois misnoideid v'nad mi'makoim l'makoim. So this was the test that Avraham Avinu was tested to see if he can move forward, if he can progress in a state of uncertainty. And, the Malachim are Elohim, Yoidei Toivara. So true, they're Oimdim Berum Oilam. They're high up there, Berum Oilam. However, they're Oimdim. There's no progress, there's no movement. Whereas Dafke, man, because he's not Ke'elohim Yoidei Toivara, he doesn't know it all. So that enables him to move forward. Loi Gila Loi Ha'aretz enables, makes it possible that there be a Lech Lecha. In the Nisayon of Mila, it says, Vayhi Avram ben Tishim Shona v'seisha shonim Vayera Hashem el Avram Vayomer Elav Ani Kel Shakai Hishalech Lefonai V'heyei Somim. So Rashi says in the beginning of Parashas Noach, on the pasuk Es HaElohim Hishalech Noach, Zokt Rashi, Noach hoyotzorich sad letoimchoi. He needed support. He needed a sad letoimchoi. And that's why it says, Es ha'Elohim. He's going with Hashem. Whereas Avram, hoye mischazek u'mahalech b'tzidkoi me'elov. And that's why by Avram, it says his halech lefonai. I'm not holding your hand. Now, we know that anything that's the Lashon of the Rabbeinu Nissim Goyen in his Akdamat Shas, that anything that's tolui b'uvnes sedeliba, anything that one can understand on his own, so kol boy olam are mechuyevin. And even the mitzvahs that the Zion mitzvahs b'nei Noach are more or less mitzvahs that the seichel is mechayev. So these are mitzvahs that are supported by the human mind. That's the sad l'toimchai, because the human mind is like the Ibn Ezra says in his Akdama to Torah, ki haseichel hu hamaloch bein ha'elokim v'ha'adam. So it's es ha'elokim hishalech noach, because the seichel and the nature of the character of man, and even his body, and the teva ha'olam, all support Noach and Noach's children in their halicha es ha'elokim. However, the mitzvahs mila that Avram Avinu is netztava goes beyond the nature of the guf, and it even goes against the nature of the guf. And so also in general, the mitzvahs shenistavu behem Yisrael, many of them, the seichel is not mechayev them. So that the mitzvahs mila and in general the mitzvahs shenitnu Yisrael are hishalech lefonai, beyond the support of the malach, the seichel shebein ha'elokim v'ha'adam. And that's the vehayei samim. Like we say, legabe nasev and ishma, anan de mazginon bitmimusa, ksiv bon v'tumas yishorim tanchem. So the halicha bitmimus is the moving forward in a state of uncertainty, when the mind doesn't necessarily agree, when we have questions, we have issues, and things are not smooth, and things are not understood. And afal piken, we continue to move forward. That's the Lech Lecha me'artzecha me'uladetecha me'beis avicha la'oretz asher areka, and that's the Mila, which is the Hishalech Lefonai, the Hayei Summit. Rashi says on Lech Lecha, Lahanaoscha u'letoivoscha, Lech Lecha, go for your own sake. Lech Lecha, Lahanaoscha u'letoivoscha. Shom, escha legoy godel. V'kan, iato zoiche lebonim. And Rashi says, V'oid sho'idia tivacha ba'olam. You'll become famous. I mean, what you represent will become known. And then Rashi says, in general, a derech is goyrem three things. What is it goyrem? It's mema'etes pirya v'rivya, umema'etes es hamamay, umema'etes es Hashem. Somebody's on the move. It's Mamayit Perivarivya. It's Mamayit his moment. It's Mamayit his name. Lokach huzkak l'sholosh brochos halol. Now it's like this: if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't tell Avram Avinu that his journey is lahana osoy uletoivasoy, so Avram Avinu would take upon himself this journey, in spite of the fact that it's going to cost him. Perivarivya, bonim, covet. He's giving up for the sake of the Rebbeinu Shalom. But that's giving up comfort, giving up this, that, and the other thing. However, when the Rebbeinu Shalom tells him that I want you to go lahana oscha uletoivoscha, the Rebbeinu Shalom is telling him that I'm not asking you to give up these things, these exteriors. I'm asking you to give up your mind. I want you to believe that, contrary to what it seems, that the derech is mema'etes shloisha dvarim. In your case, this will enhance the shloisha dvarim. Ve'eschol agoy godel and va'avarechecha va'gadlo es shemecha. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is demanding from Avram Avinu that he give up his mind, that he trusts. He relies on the Rebbeinu Shalom. He trusts the Rebbeinu Shalom, in spite of the fact that it seems not so. So this is a much greater nisayon than the nisayon of giving up material or even spiritual in Yonim. This is giving yourself up, and this also enhanced the nisyonis of that followed. I mean, Vahiro of Ba'oretz, the taking of Sarai to the base Paroi, the Mulchemes Hamalachim, the fact that Sarai is an Akora, because the Rebbeinu Shalom promised him that everything will be good, and it seems like everything is going in the other direction. That's what makes these nisyonis so powerful. If he wouldn't have been promised, these nisyonis wouldn't be such big nisyonis. But since he was promised, and his life experience is contrary to that haftacha, so that's what makes the nisayon so meaningful. And after that comes the nisayon of the Akedah, as it says, Vayomer, Kachno es binchas yichidcha asher ahavta es Yitzchak, v'lech lecha al eretz hamoriya, v'aleu sham lo, ilal lachad hahorim asher omer lecha. Rashi says, Kachno, Ein no elo loshoin bakosha. Amaloi bevakosha memcha. Amoidli bezani sayin. I ask you, please, you should pass this test. Shelo yoimru, that they shouldn't say harishonos lo yohoyo behen mamish. You shouldn't say the first nisyon is really lo yohoyo behen mamish. What is this about? Because after Avram Avinu was oimid in all the nisyonis, so in spite of all the difficulties and all the ups and downs, he finally already saw the hana and the toiva that he got from being mishalech lefanav b'tmimus. Yeah, he sees the beginning of the Bagadla Shemecha. He sees the Kanani Mevarechecha Bebonim, and now, so now he's already, his mind already is in agreement with the Rabbeinu Shalom. He doesn't have any kashas anymore, and now his moving forward is going to be considered an esheloikim es halech, a halicha with a sad l'toimchoi, and therefore, and Avram Avinu's Indian is to be a mischazek v'hoylech b'tzivkoi me'elov without a sad l'toimchoi, and therefore the Rebbeinu Shalom once again makes it impossible. And Afal Pikein, Avram Avinu moved forward. Vayoyma Avram el orav shvulachem poi imachamor v'ani v'hana nelcha ad koi. So Rashi says ad koi. Yeah, a simple pshat is koloyma derech muet l'mokam asher lefanenu. That ad koi means till there, till beyond. Ad koi. So lefize, I mean the shvulachem poi. The Na'orim are going to be poi, they're going to be here, and Avram Avinu and Yitzchak are going to go ad koi. But then Rashi brings the Midrash Agoda. The Midrash Agoda says, Ere heichon hu masha omali amokim koi yezaracha. That Avram Avinu was saying, V'ani v'anan ilcha ad koi. What is it? Ad koi. We're going to go until we see, where is it that the Rebbeinu Shalom said? How is it that the Rebbeinu Shalom said koi yezaracha? In other words, the Akedah seems to contradict the koi yezaracha. So the v'nelcha ad koi, Avram Avinu is expressing that Inyan, that what's happening now goes against everything I was promised. Nelcha ad koi. Now, lefi the pshuta shel mikra, so the poi and the koi are two opposites. The poi is here and the koi is there. But according to the pshat, that ad koi that Avram Avinu is saying is that we should go until we see how it is koi yeh zaracha. So the poi and the koi are not really opposites. I mean, the koi and the poi have nothing to do with each other. But I think they do, maybe. Because it says like this, Vayomer Avram, Hashem Elokim ma titein li v'anoichi hoylech ariri, uben meshek beisi hu damesek Eliezer. So, what can you give me? I have no children, and ben meshek beisi hu damesek Eliezer. Vayomer Avram, etc. V'hinei dvar Hashem elav leim lo yirosh chozeh. No, don't think Eliezer is going to be your yorish. Ki ima sheyetze mimeicha hu yiroshecha. Vayoytze oisei achutza vayoyme habeit no hashamayim o sfora koichovim im tucha lispor oisam koi yeh zarach. So Rashi says damesek. L'fi Targum mi damesek koya. Damesek Eliezer means Eliezer that comes from Damascus. That's the Targum. Ubegemora shalonu dorshu noitrikun. That Damesek stands for doile umashke mitoras rabbi lacher. That he draws and he gives others to drink from the wisdom of his Rebbe. Damesek Eliezer doile umashke mitoras rabbi lacher. So you know, in the Sefer Divrei Yecheskel from the Shin of Arov, he writes like this: Ulefi zeh tzorich lahavin hisnatzlos Avram lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Avram is complaining, so to speak. I have no children, and the one that's going to yashin me is Damesek Eliezer. It would sound like Damesek Eliezer is part of the problem. That I have nobody that can yarshin me because Ben Meshek Beisi is Damesek Eliezer. Now, if Damesek Eliezer means that he's a doila or mashke mitoiras rabbi lacherim, so that's a great thing. So why is he complaining about the fact that Ben Meshek Beisi is Damesek Eliezer? Lefizet tzorich lahavin hisnatzlus Avram l'fnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Diksiv hayoyma Avram hein li loy nasato zera v'hine Ben Beisi yoyres shoysi shehevi raya listes atzmai. The other Rabbi Mal Yasi shetalmidei choshuv kibnoi ka'amoram kol hamalamed ben chaver eterim my lo levakosav kilu yoldoi shehu yira shoysi. So what's wrong? V'gam ma she'omar v'hine dvar Hashem elov ki im asher yetze mimei echa hu yirashecha lo choyra havelei lemeimer zar echa hu yirashecha. What's the emphasis on yetze mimei echa? Asks the Shneverov. So he says yeshloima al pia makubel biyodenu. The ha'oiset nuois van hoges shiro mi rabbi b'shas asiyas mitzvah. Somebody that mimics, that imitates his Rebbe and acts the way his Rebbe acted when he did a mitzvah or a davar shebekdusha. V'hu oise beloy seichel v'kavana. But he doesn't have the pnimius of the Rebbe. He's just acting that way. Hareze dvar pchisus v'goru amoy. That's a terrible thing. V'zeu shoma vayoyma Avram matiten levanech yoylech hariri beloy zera uben meshek beisi udamesek eliezer rotza loymar yesh li talmid kazeh. I have a Talmud she'ein moisif v'hoylech bedaitoi lechadish me'atzmoi lasos b'kavona avodas Hashem. He's not a mechadish me'atzmoi. He's just copying what I do. He's doile umashke mitoiras rabbi. He's just going to carry over what I said. And he's not innovative. He's not original. He's yeshli Talmud kazeh she'ein moisef v'hoylech bedaitoi lechadish me'atzmoi lasos b'kavona avodas Hashem rak oisef nuis v'esnaga shiro mimeni af al pi she'ein b'madrega hazois. V'zeh kavonas Rashi doilo umashke mitoiras rabbi lachein ratzaloi k'moy shiro mi rabbi oise kein yaseh b'loy das v'kavona v'chein melamda lachein lasos kein vayoyme Avram hisnatzel es atzmai bekiflayim. Chode hein li loy nasato zera. V'oid. There's a bigger problem. Not only that I don't have zera that should be able to carry over my Torah in the right way. Hine ben beisi yoreshoisi she'enei talmud shili yoreshoisi rak ben beisi yoreshoisi. Because he's not a real Talmud. A real Talmud is somebody that is mechadish in his Rebbe's Torah. V'hine dvar Hashem elov lo yirosh chozeh. Iftiach lo shtei avtochas. Achas sheyeh lo zera. V'oid asher yetzei mimeyecha. What's the idea? Yetzei mimeyecha. He says, Ratzalem sheyetzei leneged b'chinoscha. Your son is going to depart from your derech. He's going to go against you. In other words, Avram is the midas hachesed, Yitzchok is the midas hagvura. In other words, yetzei mimeyecha. That sheyetzei leneged b'chinoscha sheyeh b'bchina chadosha. Ki yadua sheshorish nishmasa shel Avram hu b'chinas hachesed, v'shorish nishmasa shel Yitzchok b'chinas gvura, v'avoidosoi tiyeh b'bchina chadosha k'moy shorish nishmasoi, v'hu yirashech. So he's saying that Eliezer is being a doila umashke is a greyus, it's a chisar, because he's just carrying over what the Rebbe said without being moisiv, without being mechadish. And that was Avram's complaint. Ben Meshek Beisi is Damesek Eliezer. Now, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Avram, when he promises him children, Usfor HaKoichovim, Im Tuchal Lispor Oisam. Im Tuchal Lispor Oisam. So what is it? Why are we comparing Yidden to the stars? So the Rabbeinu Bachye says, Kaloimar, Beribui Otzum ki Koichovim halol. There'll be so many as the stars. V'yichloil oid. There's another meaning there's another way in which Yidden are compared to the Koichovim. Koi yia zaracha b'madreges hachochma. Ki kashem sheyesh b'koichovim, misha oiroi mazhir umavik b'yoyse, yoyse mechaveru, umadregesehem chalukoi zula maila mizu. There are differences between one star and the other. Umadregesehem chalukoi zoy lemaila mizu ba'oiro ba'asoge. Kach asidim chachamim shebiyisrael sheyiu madregois chalukos. Or teirosei shel zeh l'mayla me or teirosei shel zeh. V'asagosei shel zeh l'mayla me asagosei shel zeh. So that's why Yidden are compared to Koichavim. It's just like Koichavim. There are bigger stars and smaller stars. There are differences between the stars. So Yidden will not all be the same. They'll be Zeh l'mayla mizeh. L'chayre, it would be better if they're all the same. I mean, they will all be on the highest madrega, right? So what's the promise over here? That the madregas are going to be chalukim b'hasogosehem u'ba'oira zu l'mayla mizu. So it must be that dafke through the chiluk hamadregas of the hasoga of the chachamim shebi Yisrael. So all the tzdodim of Torah's emes on his gala and all the chidushim on his chadish, what the chidushim that everybody is mechadish based on his unique qualities and his character and his shorish haneshama and his way of hasoga. And Mamela, it comes out that in the Haftochas Hazera, Avram Avinu was promised that his legacy will not be carried over in an oifen of doila umashke, but it's going to develop through his zera, like koichovim, where each koichov has its own oira and its own madrege. It won't be just imitating and repeating and carrying over what Avram Avinu taught. Now, when the Torah of the Rebbe is clear to the Talmuds and he has no sfeikis, so Avada, he's doila umashke la'acherim, just the way he heard it, because everything is clear and he fully identifies with the Rebbe's Torah, so he gives it over as is. How does the Torah develop? How does the Talmud's Torah develop? It's only mikoyach the tiyuftis and the kashas and the stiris and the iboyas. The Talmud is mechadish in the Torah's rabbi midilei. But often that the development and the growth is the side is in the lack of clarity, in the uncertainty. You know, I mean, Yidden have more words for a kasha than any other language, a question, yeah? But we have a kasha, iboya, pircha, tiyufta, vim, toima, teima, because we really grow from kashas, yeah? We grow from kashas. So the Talmud that only is a recipient of what's clear and what's straightforward. He's a doilo mashke. So that's why it says Usvar hakoichovim koi yia zaracha, because aspaklaria hameira is, as Rashi says in the beginning of Parshas Matos, zehadov. This aspaklaria she'ena meira is koi omar Hashem. It's like, but it's not zeh. Avram Avinu is being promised that the Asher Yetzei Mimeyecha is not going to be a doilo mashke. Not going to be a doilo mashke. And like the Shinavarov says, Yetzei leneged b'chinoscha. Because he's not going to be attached to the zeh. Only to the zeh. He's going to have the courage to deal with the koi when the idea is not so clear. And therefore, your zera will be koichavim, where each koichav is meir, which is with its own or, like the Rabbeinu Bachye said. So sfor hakoichavim koi yia zaracha, that they'll be like the stars, they'll be koidik, not zeh. And you see by Eliezer it says shvulachem poi, because the doila umashke is stuck in the poi. It's only va'ani va'ana neilcha ad koi. As Rashi says, ere heichon hu masha'amali amokim koi yazeracha. Which means, let me see, how far can I continue to move forward and move upward in the hishalech lefonai ve'yei samim with lack of certainty, with not understanding, because lefira oisai in this tzivui goes against what I was promised. but let me move forward with uncertainty. Aniva anar nelcha ad koi, because that's the derech of Avram, and that's the derech of Yitzchak, who's not the Meshek Basi, the Meshek Eliezer. No, he's not a doilo mashke. He has his own koi. There's Avram, there's Yitzchak, and we move forward without knowing. You know, we say every day, "V'anachnu lo neida manase ki olecha eineinu." Yelecha eineinu. Which means really, it's interesting because normally we would say that when we don't know, then Alecha Einenu, it's the Alecha Einenu is a consequence of the not knowing. But here we say fakez, we say Va'anachnu lo'nei demanase ki Alecha Einenu, that the not knowing is a consequence of Alecha Einenu. In other words, we have to teach ourselves that even when we know, we really don't know. So a yid that zoichet to Alecha Einenu, he understands fully that he doesn't know. So v'anachnu lo neida ma nase ki olecha einenu. Okay, so we know that we don't know, and we move forward. El ha'oretz asher areka. Yeah, we move forward without knowing where exactly it is. What's our destination? El achad ha'orem asher omer lecha. Now, the Tur in Siman Kuf Lamed Aleph in the Rechaim says, "V'omer shliach tzibur v'anachnu lo neida after nefilas hapayim." V'atam. Why do we say this? L'fishi hispalalnu b'chol inyan sheyuchol adam lispal. We davened in every way that a person could daven. We davened b'yeshiva, u'ba'amida, u'b'nefilas hapayim. Kasher osa Moshe Rabbeinu, v'ksiv v'eshev b'hor, u'ksiv v'anochi amaditi b'hor. So we stand, we sit, and we're misnapel, just like Moshe Rabbeinu. We did everything we can do. I mean, what else can we? So we already don't know what to do. We tried everything. We tried to. We stood. We sat. We're neufel apayim. And so you know the Magen Avram says in Siman, the Magen Avram says over there in Sivkot and Dal, in the name of the Shlo, Roi loymar v'anachnu loyneda b'yeshiva. Ma nase ba'amida. The words v'anachnu loyneda, you should say sitting. The ma nase, you should say ba'amida. Ushneim b'kol rom, but both should be said b'kol rom. So I think the idea is that we don't know manase, but the lack of knowing, it doesn't paralyze us. Adrabah, it empowers us and it moves us forward to do more, to do this, to do that, to do the other thing, to try everything. So we daven b'yeshiva, we daven b'amida, and b'nefilas hapayim, and mitoich the loy neida, we get up to the manase. In other words, we stand up and we say manas. In other words, you would think Vanach Loy Neida, it puts us down. But no, the Loy Neida lifts us up because manas ki Alecha Eineinu. And that Alecha Eineinu gives us the power to stand up and move forward. Yes, so and not B'Koil Anois Chalusha, but we say B'Koil Rom. Yeah, we say it B'Koil Rom. We don't know. We're not embarrassed. We're not broken. We say B'Koil Rom v'anachnu lo neida, and we stand up and we say Ma'anase because the Ma'anase is we're ready to do it. We're ready to do what you want. We're ready to move forward. So that's really, I think an important lesson in such times of uncertainty, and that's really the state of Yidden. I mean, b'chol hadoros. I mean, it's not like our situation is clear. It's not like we know where we're going. It's not like we have an understanding of events, but the loy neida should not paralyze us. And Yidden believe that Lecha einenu, and Memela, even when they think they know that they don't know. And Mela, even when they realize that they don't know, it doesn't paralyze them. And we say ba'amida v'anachnu le'neda, we say b'koil wrong. We say v'anachnu le'neda ma'anase, and we do whatever we can. We do ba'amida, we do b'yeshiva, we do b'nefilas apayim, we do whatever we can. And that's what gives meaning to our life, and that's how we can proceed and move forward. Maybe just a help from that we should be zoiche to be able to contain doubt in our avodas Hashem. We should be able to live with doubt, not have to know. Having to know, that's yoidei toivera, that's zemoy sheish lo yodanu mahoyaloi, and go into a panic. No, we deal with a lack of certainty, and we move further. Rabbi Say, I want to seize this opportunity to wish you all a good Shabbos, and we should be zeicher to hear besoros toivos, Yeshua's v'nachamos.